Good evening, gentlemen. So this evening, I took some time, 1.5 to 2 hours, spending time with my girl. We got some food and watched literally 20 minutes of a Netflix show, right? And even when we were planning the day before, because, we were just talking, saying, we could start watching this, whatever. And you will never catch me watching any type of Netflix series or film at all. Because the habits that I've built, and I'll get to that in a bit, you know what? When on my way walking there, I kind of had this feeling and this thought of like the last couple of weeks I've been spending my hard, dedicated time building these habits. And now just because I enjoyed my time watching this show, everything's gonna get harder. Because everybody knows that when you spend some good time, whether it's with being out with your boys, whether it's having some gaming night, although I don't have these anymore, I know how it feels, right? You enjoy yourself so much that the next day, even waking up and brushing your teeth feels like hell. Let's be honest. Maybe it doesn't feel like hell, but you get my point, right? Like your baseline falls. Because if you do something fun, then the next thing that you do, even if it's normal, in comparison, to contrast, is gonna feel worse. And I thought about this. And everything that's perspective and mindset related has some type of link to contrast. Junkies who abuse drugs, the reason they literally can't survive without taking the substance that they're addicted to is because of this. Because they've raised their baseline of dopamine so high that anything normal throughout the day that they do without using this drug that they're addicted to, although for them, before starting it might have been like, all right, the baseline is cool, it's not boring, but nor fun. The fact that they compare the peak of their dopamine to real life, bro, people turn crazy because of this. The guy who's only used to doing this kind of boring habits, to be honest, they're not fun. I don't consider myself a fun person when I'm literally trying to build myself up by sleeping at 9 p.m. and waking up early, all right? When I try to work for hours on some Python project that I'm struggling with so I can make some money in the future, I don't think to myself, damn, I'm having extreme fun right now. My life's fun. But guess what? I don't care because I'm playing the long-term game. But my point here is doing the habits, and by the way, doing productive things, most of the time, probably 80-90% is not going to be fun, all right? It will be fulfilling, and afterwards you're going to be like, damn, it kind of feels good. I kind of get this kick. But while doing it never will be. So your baseline will adjust depending on that, all right? Somebody who might be doing a boring habit where you're like, dude, this guy, all he does is read, study, and work out every day. That's not fun. He doesn't listen to music. He doesn't watch these Netflix shows. But he's having his fun. He might be enjoying himself more than you, although you watch these Netflix shows or whatever, or jerk off or watch whatever you want, all right? That's because his baseline of dopamine dropped to such a low degree where even doing something like work is more enjoyable. For you, work is terrible because you're in a situation, you're blessed enough to compare it to something that makes you completely happy. That's why I don't believe in balance partially. People are like, you know what, work-life balance, let's drink during the weekends for 2 days, completely get drunk or do whatever, and then watch shows and binge eat and eat all these snacks that lower your frequency, and then the next days go to work. Work-life balance. I don't believe in that. And for me, that's more than a belief. It's a lifestyle. Now, what I do believe in is periods of what people call monk mode. I think that's like basically putting a certain period of time and focusing solely on work, where you're like, okay, for the next 1 month, I'm going to cut this, I'm going to cut this, I'm going to cut this, but I will work on this, I'll work on upgrading my discipline, and you kind of lower in a way, it's kind of a dopamine detox. That's what the purpose of it. For all those of you who heard it and were like, I don't know what the hell that is, it sounds superficial. That's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Your frequency, most of the times, is dependent on the contrast that you put it on. It's still related. When you've managed to conquer yourself in a way where major excuses don't hit you anymore, you don't think to yourself, you know what, let me just skip. You know what, let me just eat this junk food. I can feel shitty about myself. I don't care. these hard topics don't hit you anymore. You don't go, you know what, let me just watch 3 more hours of this Netflix show and then wake up at 11 a.m. tomorrow. But here's the thing. The more you sharpen your sword and make it longer so you can cut larger objects, there's something that you're leaving a blind spot for. You're developing if you only focus on things that are on a macroscopic scale, so big things, if you only focus on big things and you ignore the small things, you will slowly rot away by the small things attacking you. When you're ready to chop down big trees, when you're ready to chop down big objects, but people hit you with small objects that you're not used to because you've developed your sword so long and you're used to just brute force and you're not used to this flexibility or this maneuvering, you'll literally fall. And although it might sound like somebody in the comments might be like, dude, this makes no sense. You're literally, you say you don't play video games, but you're literally comparing it to a video game. But it makes sense if you think about it. If you stop making excuses and you reflect, you'll understand that, okay, big excuses don't work on me anymore because I'm at a point where I've developed myself past that. But excuses like, let me take 5 minutes off. I've already worked 5 hours today. Let me take 5 minutes off. Tomorrow, let me do 10 push-ups less. Let me take 1 set off. You might hit the gym. Well, I might take a cold shower every morning. It's a hard habit. I've chopped down what's big. The big problem is chopped down. But guess what? There's still small chunks that I need to handle. When I take a cold shower, everything counts. Okay? I could be like, you know what? Let me just turn the water a little bit hotter. I decided to wake up early. I already decided to cut down the big thing. But let me at least ignore the small things coming towards me. Let me at least wake up a little bit later. Let me at least go to bed a little bit later. And then you start rotting. Okay? And you're like, damn, I failed. And my discipline is literally gone. I can't do the same things anymore. But what did I miss? Where was the mistake? Where was the empty field that I ignored for so long? Or some people are literally going to be like, that was my first big fall off. How did I call it? You fell off? Yeah. That's how I fell off the first time. In 2022, when I started my self-improvement journey, dude, I was literally skipping rope 4 a.m. outside. And I was like, damn, I'm so disciplined. I've literally got this game for life. I was like 16, 17 years old. I was like, dude, I literally made it for life. And guess what? That's the habit. The habit of letting loose and being less responsive towards the little things is what made me fall. Because bit by bit, even if it was small, even if I was like, instead of skipping for 10 minutes a day outside, I'll do it 8 today. You know what, it's fine. I'll make up for tomorrow by waking up a little bit earlier. And then tomorrow comes and I'm like, you know what, I'll make it up for later. And you build the identity that you create in yourself is based on the actions that you make. It's not by the affirmations. It's not by you saying, Demir, you're good, you're disciplined. That doesn't work if the action isn't followed by it. You might feel good about yourself for some time, but anyway, those little things that you do, those little actions, your subconscious always notices. Even if you're like, that's not a problem, like I'm literally optimizing for sleep, that's good for me. Your subconscious is like, we know exactly what you're missing, motherfucker. And you're gonna, guess what? Reality always catches up to you. That's a quote I always say. Reality always catches up to you. So you might as well be honest with yourself now. Something I've realized is, if you're doing a terrible habit that you shouldn't be doing, something that's destroying your self-improvement, whether it's eating terrible food or watching porn or anything like that, at least be man enough to admit to yourself that what you're doing is terrible and you shouldn't be doing it, instead of thinking, you know, it's okay because it's healthy, because technically there's one study that I heard and it said that it's good for my energy levels to take a break. And guess what? You don't just identify as someone, you don't create the identity of someone who just skips and doesn't do what he's supposed to, but you also create the identity of a liar because you're lying to yourself about this. You're not honest enough. The opposite of honesty is a lie. So keep being honest to yourself. When you fail, it's always good. You know, part of the reason why I was able to grow so fast and learn from my mistakes, and although I did waste many months in the self-improvement journey, the reason I could always get back up and keep progressing from there is because I was honest. And I felt terrible about myself. when I skipped this workout, when I trained only once a week that week, and by the way, I'm blessed enough, like since 2025 started, I haven't missed, all right? The last 2-3 months, I don't deal with this issue anymore on a big enough scale, but where was I even going with this? When you talk with such passion, sometimes the plan just goes out of your mind, but anyway, what I want you boys to take out of this video is, and to learn from my mistakes that I've done. I've literally wasted months for this, okay? Just focusing on the big things and ignoring the small. Now, in one of my previous videos, if y'all have even seen it, I've also said that to focus on the major things, because the small things will always follow. Because those people, including past me, I'm talking to past me as I'm giving you guys the lessons. Past me, when I wanted to build a business, and I knew I had to, because I was dropshipping, right? It's basically like buying products for cheap from China and then selling it to another person around the country, and you don't have to do anything because, you buy it for cheap, sell it for expensive. Anyway, I instead of analyzing this and putting products within my page, I was like, you know what? Let me spend 2 weeks building my logo. That's a microscopic thing, right? These are microscopic tasks that you don't have to do. I always tell you guys, do what you know you have to do rather than optimizing for what seems sweet and nice. But in this case, that's different. I'm not being hypocritical here. But what I'm telling you is, once you master the big things, be careful to not fall for the small things. To not let them slowly make you bleed out. And at the end of the day, you're like, damn, I lost my vision. What's going on? Brother, you've lost half your blood without paying attention to it, because you were just looking up, trying to find a big object coming towards you. Stay sharp, boys. And also, recently, there was some guy within my comments in a previous video saying, you stop fucking whining, and you're complaining like your ancestors were working way harder than you and whatnot. And this is when I talk about what's hard for me, when I talk about the hard things that I go through, it's not me complaining. Because every day I think to myself at least 10 times, what a blessing it is to be alive. What a blessing it is to be able to share my experiences with you guys, to guide you guys along the journey. All right? I love work. I don't love it in the sense that as I love my girlfriend. I don't love it in the sense that I love my family, but I love it in the sense as it's a different type of relationship. I love it in the sense that the fulfillment I derive from it makes me happy. And that's how you can only enjoy work. By the way, people who go, dude, I don't enjoy what I do. I don't have fun when I work. You're not supposed to have fun. Most fun that these entrepreneurs derive from it, even the people like David Goggins who work out, he doesn't enjoy it, but the joy he gets is from the fulfillment of the work. But that's besides the point. Sometimes I just get off track passionately talking, but that's the point of the video. Stay sharp, boys. And what I'm telling you, like I said, is not excuses. I'm just guiding you through, telling you what I find difficult, so you guys understand, dude, this is what he applied to himself to get over this obstacle, so that maybe you can do the same. All right? I love you, boys. Thank you for the support. I notice, even if I don't reply to every single one of y'all, I always read every comment that I get. So, thank you.